We got NFL news and notes coming your way. The big news in the NFL today, the Eagles getting wide receiver Jahan Dotson in a trade with their divisional rival, the Washington Commanders. The third-year wideout had 49 catches for 518 yards and 4 tutties last season. Now Dotson figures to slide behind the Eagles' talented duo of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the depth chart. Philly's going to send a third-round pick and 2 seventh-rounders in the 2025 draft to Washington, with a 5th-rounder coming back to the Eagles along with Dotson. So you see that trade there. That was just one of 3 trades that went down on Thursday as teams start to wrap up their training camps. The Commanders made a deal with the Browns, getting kicker Cade York for a conditional 7th-round pick. And the Seahawks moved veteran cornerback Michael Jackson, sending him to the Panthers for rookie linebacker Michael Barrett out of Michigan. Barrett will reunite with head coach Mike McDonald, who coached him for 1 season as the DC at Michigan back in 2021. And the Jets are gearing up for their preseason finale against the Giants on Saturday. Head coach Robert Saleh saying today that the Jets will not play Aaron Rodgers or any of their other starters on Saturday. It's a bit of a change for Saleh, who played starters alongside Rodgers in 2023 and alongside Zach Wilson in 2022 and 2021. Here's more from Saleh on that decision.
Different reasons last year as compared to this year. I'm not going to get into those, but I feel like we've gotten so much work done, so much good work with 3 quality opponents over the course of 3 weeks. Last year we didn't scrimmage with the Giants. This year we've had 3 different scrimmages, and I feel like the amount of work we got in has been very productive.
All right, so the quarterback situation in New England is obviously very different than the Jets. The Patriots, they have less than a week before head coach Maye said he wants to have his starting QB position decided. Now, at the moment, Jacoby Brissett, who signed with New England this offseason, is expected to be under center week 1. But it feels like there's still some time for the Patriots to switch it up and ultimately go with their 3rd overall pick in Drake Maye. So why doesn't Maye have the job right now? Patriots offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt answered that today. Take a listen.
Jacoby, right now he's our starting quarterback. So, the good news is this week we'll get to play everybody. We're still in the evaluation process. We have 1 more preseason game, and our guys are going to play, so we'll have another chance to evaluate.
Is there still a chance for Drake to be the week 1 starter?
I'm sure. Coach said it's open competition. Obviously, we have 1 more game to go. That I'm sure there's a chance. But I think as you go in, there's still a process of how you bring a rookie quarterback along. So I think that's important to remember as well.
All right, the season isn't even officially here yet, and we already have a handful of storylines, news, and notes to discuss, and we have Charles Davis here with us to talk about it. CD, let's start with Jahan Dotson and that news. As mentioned, he joins a loaded Eagles offense. What is he going to bring to this Philly squad?
Well, first of all, Jacqueline, great to be with you, and you are juggling things like the Bull Durham conference at the Mound. You're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. So let's start with Jahan Dotson, as you talked about. I think this is a great pickup for Philadelphia. We know about A.J. Brown. He'll beat you up as a wide receiver out wide. Devontae Smith will float between slot and outside. And, the Slim Reaper gets the job done in a big way. We know that. We know underneath Dallas Goedert is your tight end. And now you've added running back Saquon Barkley, so you can throw the ball in the backfield to him and Kenneth Gainwell. But to have that pure slot receiver who can also work outside. Remember, Dotson was a 1st-round pick, number 16 overall, when he came out a few years ago. So it's not like you're getting a guy that you're really taking a huge gamble on. You're expecting him to play like a 1st-rounder in a new environment. And I think this is a big pickup for Philadelphia. Howie Roseman, the GM, once again announcing to the rest of the league, we've got a loaded roster. We'll do anything we can to improve it. We are chasing championships. I don't care how last season finished. It's a brand new year, and in Philadelphia, you chase the big prizes.
Let's talk about the flip side of this trade, because the Commanders, just overall, their roster turnover could be more than 50% once the season finally gets here. Is this welcoming news for the Commanders, in your opinion? We're having this whole turnover there for their roster in this Dan Quinn era?
Yeah, and remember, Adam Peters is the brand new general manager. This is his opportunity to remake the roster. And Jacqueline, let's not kid ourselves. Have the Washington Commanders been a good football team consistently over the last 5 to 10 years? The answer is no. So you're not turning over a roster that's produced big-time results. You might as well make it to the liking of your new head coach, Dan Quinn, of yourself as a general manager, Adam Peters, and off you go. And Dotson, has not been a focal point of their offense over the last year and a half. So you make the move. Why? Because you have Terry McLaurin out wide. You have Olamide Zaccheaus, who's done well for them, and they love how he competes. And you drafted Luke McCaffrey, who likely will be your slot receiver now. So this is a good move for them in terms of we remake the roster, you guys hearing the message of Dan Quinn, and off you go. Now, I know Martavis Bryant was a big signing for them. He always gets a lot of attention because that's been wasted potential his entire career. But if Washington's counting on Martavis Bryant, then you're making a mistake every other team has made. He hasn't answered the bell and finished. If he does, great, you picked up someone. But the idea that Martavis Bryant's a savior isn't the deal. I think Luke McCaffrey's much more the future for them at slot receiver, and that's why they picked him out of Rice.
And CD, to your point, you were saying this is a team that has not produced over the last 5 years or so. Jaden Daniels is going to be the 8th different week 1 starting quarterback for the Commanders, and they're hoping that is the answer for the next couple of years at least. Let's talk about the quarterback situation for the Jets, because Robert Saleh saying today that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be playing in the Jets' final preseason game against the Giants this weekend. Is this a move that you were expecting, considering we know Aaron Rodgers is a veteran quarterback coming off of that Achilles injury?
I'm not sure I expected it, Jacqueline, because remember, he didn't play when the weather was poor, right, and so on. And as you showed earlier in that little clip of Robert Saleh, we're used to seeing the Jets play people. But then Robert Saleh explained they've had joint practices with everyone. They've gotten a lot of work in. And as you pointed out, Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury from last year where they got 4 plays out of him. I think you put him in bubble wrap and make sure he's ready to go. I think he's gotten plenty of work. Veteran status. The Jets understood this and had a plan. I like the move by Robert Saleh. I'd much rather bank on Aaron Rodgers answering the bell against San Francisco than worry about him getting a few plays against the Giants. That doesn't do much for you. Just go ahead and turn him loose on opening night, Monday Night Football. Here comes Aaron Rodgers' return. I like the move by Saleh.
Yeah, that Monday night matchup with the 49ers is certainly going to be a good one. The AFC East, it's one of the most wide open divisions, but the long shot in that division is the New England Patriots. Jacoby Brissett, he is expected to be the starter there week 1. And CD, I'm curious to get your take because, yes, he's expected to be the starter, but we heard that soundbite from Alex Van Pelt where he's like kind of keeping the door open for Drake Maye, saying, hey, maybe he could be the starter. That's your week 1 matchup there. You're going to be on the call. So I'm interested to get your take on the quarterback situation and what's going on there in New England, whether it's going to be Drake Maye or Jacoby Brissett, and your take on all of that.
Jacqueline, as you've done this for a while, how many times have you heard a team when they've made a draft pick of a quarterback in the first round, whatever, hey, he's not going to start for us right away, guys. We have this person. We have quarterback X, and he's our starter. We're going to bring him along slowly. So don't expect him early. And how many times have you gone, hold it a minute, it's week 2, and that guy's starting. The rookie's already playing. This is wash, rinse, repeat in the NFL. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. But if the door is open, and remember, Alex Van Pelt gave us that soundbite because, as he said, Gerard Mayo, the head coach, said the quarterback competition is open. And Drake Maye did enough in the last game to open the door on that. Remember, ownership gave the green light to draft a guy number 3 overall. Ownership likes to see their guys on the field when they draft them early. This is just part and parcel in the league. The exception is when a quarterback who's drafted in the first round sits. This could be more of the rule with Drake Maye. Now, here's the big thing, Jacqueline. He's got to slow himself down. He is so amped up right now, and everything is flying. Footwork's got to slow down. Reads have to slow down, but he needs help. He needs an offensive line to block for him. He needs a running game to emerge with Ramondre Stevenson. And he needs receivers to separate downfield. Not getting much of that thus far, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw Drake Maye open the season in New England as QB1 with Joe Burrow's return with the Bengals. Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah, a healthy Joe Burrow at that, and another healthy quarterback that this respective team is looking forward to is the Indianapolis Colts, because Anthony Richardson supposed to be good to go, and he is expected to play in the Colts preseason finale tonight in Cincinnati. What do you want to see from AR to make you feel good about where he's going to start this season for the Colts, who are plus 310 to win the AFC South?
Yeah, Jacqueline, I was just in Indianapolis last week around that Colts team, and there's a lot of optimism around that franchise. It's the era of good feelings in Indianapolis, but a lot of it comes back to the man you mentioned, Anthony Richardson out of Florida, whose potential is to infinity and beyond, to quote Buzz Lightyear. We know that he has everything. What was concerning for me a little bit was listening to the comments of the Bengals players in their joint practice, where he took off and ran a lot instead of throwing the football in their individual drills, their team periods, and so on. Players were saying, hey, throw the ball, man. You know, you running around doesn't help anyone right now. But part of that is, Jacqueline, 4 plays for Aaron Rodgers last year, just 4 games for Anthony Richardson. So when things are breaking down, he's going to rely on his great skill set and being able to run the football. Throwing it has to come along, because that'll be a big part of why the Colts will advance and ascend, and they have a chance to do that. I'm banking on him doing that, and I think it starts in this game against Cincinnati. Let's see him throw it on time. Let's see him when he does get out of the pocket and make a move, keep his eyes downfield, find another target, and keep his running right now to a minimum. We know he can do that. Let's get going with those receivers and throw the ball downfield. That's what I think his coaches are going to want to see in this last preseason game.
Yeah, AR in those 4 games that you mentioned, we saw flashes of greatness. So I'm sure Colts fans hoping that can be sustained as the season comes. CD, we certainly appreciate it. We know football is coming when we start to see more and more of you on HQ. Just a reminder, 2 weeks to go until the regular season is here, and you can watch the NFL on CBS starting September 8th. As mentioned, CD going to be on the call for the Patriots versus the Bengals Week 1 on CBS, and you can stream all the action on Paramount Plus as well.